Hello YouTube. I apologise for the awful video quality, but my actual camera is currently broken, so I'm working with what I've got. So I found this on my God's Chris tag from nearing on a year ago now, but it turned out someone did it just the other week, so since it's still alive, I thought I'd have a go doing it too. Hope you enjoy. Neither really. I don't think my mum's ever really been religious, and my dad seems to have lost whatever Catholicism he retained from his childhood the year before I was born, so by the time I was born he was agnostic. So I got no religious upbringing from them. However, my Catholic Nana used to take me to church with her whenever she came over for Christmas or Easter, which I asked to go to. And she also gave me a children's Bible, which I was allowed to have for no problem. I also attended a mildly Protestant primary school, where they made us do the Lord's Prayer every morning, and I can still remember it by heart. I didn't realise the primary school was Protestant until I watched a Darby and joke about mixed marriages, and guess the end. However, the same primary school also did RS classes where they taught us about Sikhism, Buddhism and Hinduism, along with all three Abrahamic religions. I've never been baptised, but I tried to baptise myself once as a child, after the first time I went to church with my nan. I flitted back and forth between belief and non-belief from the age of 7 till 14. 7 was also the age I disproved the tooth fairy, by which I mean I had my tooth fall out, and I put it in the box I was supposed to put teeth in that fell out. And I left it there without telling anyone about it, and it didn't magically turn to money. So the next day I told my mum that my tooth fell out as if it had just fell out that day, let her give me the money, and let her continue giving me money for the teeth that had fell out, right up until the age of 10, when she finally decided to tell me, yeah, the tooth fairy doesn't exist, and I'm like, no. She also told me that year that Santa didn't exist. He was the only one I still actually believed in, and while that is a story for another time, it makes a perfect example of why personal experience is not proof of existence. At 14, I settled on calling myself an agnostic, just because the way we were taught it in my RS classes, that was the correct term for someone who was stuck in between. By 15, I had pretty much started calling myself an atheist just as often as I call myself an agnostic. And by 16, having argued myself back and forth on all the possible points and arguments I'd ever heard for either side, settled on calling myself an atheist. This has had no effect on my family, who have no idea I went back and forth at all and think I've always been an agnostic atheist. People believe in God I'm pretty indifferent about. However, if they're going to try and tell me how it makes them more moral, or try and pass laws based on their particular brand of God, then I'm going to have something to say about it. Especially since I've not yet had a single God described to me who, by my standard, didn't behave immorally at least once, with the Abrahamic gods outright repulsing me with their love of killing people constantly. Not really. I've had some fun conversations with people in high school who couldn't comprehend me not belonging to a religion. One asked me what an atheist was, and when I told her, said, well, I don't believe in God either, but I'm still a Christian, which I think is part of that thing which Dublin talks about people doing on censuses, where they are like, yes, I'm a Christian. And when you ask them why they said they're a Christian, like, well, no, I don't believe in God, but I try to be a good person. And for some reason they don't think atheist means you can be a good person. But this conversation continued with this girl, and she stated, well, you have to be some sort of Christian because all white people are Christian. This conversation eventually resulted in me walking out the room and my form teacher applauding me for it, because he said he probably would have started shouting obscenities had he been in my position. So, always nice, the adults agree with you. Similar bouts of ignorance amongst my high school class also resulted in hilarious statements such as, you can catch AIDS by touching people with radiation poisoning, and you can't see Jupiter in the night sky because it's not a star. Which, While it's correct that Jupiter isn't a star, last time I checked, I can see the moon in the night sky, and that's not a star either. So I don't really think it's so much me being treated differently because I'm an atheist as just people in my high school are really ignorant about a lot of things. So, whatever. If spirituality is supposed to be equated with feelings of awe at the sights in nature and the beauty and complexity of things, then sure, I feel that. But if spirituality is supposed to be equated to something supernatural, then no. Reports of supernatural phenomena interest me a lot, and people are welcome to believe in them. But, as with God, I will need evidence beyond personal experience before I personally believe them. Thank you everyone for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I accept them for what they are, facts of life. Suffering is as inevitable as death, but hopefully you can take something away from it to help you grow as a person, even if it's just the ability to empathise with people who suffered the same way, or a determination to make sure no one else has to feel that way again. As for death, I'm pretty comfortable with it. My mum has a lot to do with that, as she's fond of discussing wacky funeral plans, including a purple funeral and fireworks. And also, I'm fairly sure I know how I'm going to die, because cancer is ridiculously common in my family. By that I mean there is only one person in my family in living memory who's died of something other than cancer, and he wasn't a blood relative. All my blood relatives have also only died of one type of cancer that I know of. They all seem to have died of bowel cancer. However, since they're not first degree relatives and they weren't diagnosed before the age of 55, I can't prove a strong family history. But it is coming at me from both sides of my family, and all sides of theirs, so it's really likely. So I'm going to know I'm dying well in advance, and I'm going to die slowly and painfully, and I know that, and I accept it. But I'm dying slowly now, and there's nothing I can do really to prevent it other than eat healthy and stay active and try and do something that'll outlive me. I want to leave my own paintings on paths of knowledge. I want to inspire others to do the same. I can only find immortality in the minds of future generations, and for me, that's good enough.